A population of 1.21 billion. A landmass of 3.28 million square kilometers. And a significant half of its workforce powered by a farming economy. India stands on the global economic scale as one of the 5 largest producers of livestock. The growth rate of this allied sector has been ranked as one of the fastest in the world. Cattle are the lifeline for those reliant on them for a living, as a means of transportation to assist irrigational processes. For the country, it is, among others, a turnover of 5 lakh crore. Cattle are integral not only to traditional farming practices but are the essential source of milk, the backbone of dairy farming. Dairy farming continues to be one of the leading providers of livelihood in villages. Cows, buffaloes, goats are where the milk comes from. Cattle are as crucial, if not more, to the sustenance of the Indian rural industry. With broad avenues for productivity and growth the animals provide, there come challenges that the cattle rearing farmer must confront. Raising the young ones with adequate nutrition, providing nurturing conditions for every single one of the herd, tending to health snags that may need veterinary attention, and monitoring their productivity with ethical practices. Keeping up with the expenses of maintaining cattle and adequate irrigational facilities bear considerable pressure. This isn't always a smooth enterprise, and finance is more than just a key component. Fullerton India Credit Company Limited is one of India's leading non-banking financial companies. It has established itself in the country's financial landscape with a network of over 445 branches spread across 22 states, reaching out to over 600 towns and 42,000 villages. Fullerton India is one of India's leading NBFCs with an AUM of over 10,000 crores. The company presently services over 12 lakh customers and has now also forayed into affordable housing finance category.
Fullerton India has been associated with CSR for many years, and it's very critical for us, an important aspect of our business. We believe in giving it back to the society, and it's not that we are doing it because Companies Act has made it mandatory, but we have been doing it for many years now. What we have done is we have identified all our CSR activities into 3 sectors. One is livelihood, other one is health, and the third one is environment. What we do under livelihood is we do program like Jivika, which is livelihood advancement for women. We do Gurukul, which is livelihood advancement for youths. And third one is Pashu Vikas. Under health, what we do is we have healthcare camps where we go to rural areas and treat people for their health problems. And we also set up eye care camps which are for taking care of their vision problems. Under environment, what we do is we do tree plantations, and we also have something called as Krishi Mitra, which is encouraging farmers for organic farming, which can give them a better yield for their crops. So those are some of the things that we have been doing in the CSR area.
These initiatives are causes close to the hearts of every employee at Fullerton India. Designed, planned, and implemented by employees, the CSR initiatives are based on regular interaction between them and customers as they continually monitor and engage in discussion with target households.
We have a very clearly defined motto. Whatever we do in the CSR space particularly has to be sustainable. From a HR standpoint, so many employees coming together for one activity in a day actually sets the tone of what we can achieve if the power of employees across all our branches come together and make one socially impactful activity. That really sets the tone of what others can do in various other fields. So our motto is teach a man to fish and you help him for a lifetime rather than feeding him a fish which is a one-off activity. So centered around this theme really is whatever we develop as a program or initiative and we roll out, all our CSR activities are anchored to it.
The first Pashu Vikas Day, held in 2014, was a game changer for cattle owners. Having treated around 20,000 cattle, touching the lives of around 10,000 community households.
We plan on expanding our service every year, further strengthening our commitment towards rural India, especially cattle care, as part of our CSR initiative. Last year, the camps were organized across 115 locations, and with the kind of overwhelming response that we received, we went ahead with building presence across 190 locations this year, targeting 250 villages, with a stronger commitment towards development in rural India.
Fullerton, India celebrates the Pashu Vikas Day. This time, the initiative is spanned over 40,000 cattle, reaching around 20,000 community households in more than 250 villages across India. Around 2,500 Fullerton, India employees are engaged in the camp. An annual event that kicked off in 2014 and since then has met with success beyond expectation. Fullerton, India, in alliance with several cattle feed manufacturers, government and non-government veterinary health organizations and their doctors, organizes these camps to provide know-how and inputs on cattle rearing, dairy farming, cattle care and upkeep, artificial insemination drives and milk marketing.
For the past 6-7 years, we've been into cattle care as one of the initiatives for CSR. But however, we thought why not go into a large-scale format, which is when we started Pashu Vikas Day last year. And that is when we got Irfan Pathan on board to be associated with us as a guest of honor for this program. This year again we had Irfan Pathan on board, and it was great to have him around. And it was amazing to see that how comfortable he was in a cattle care initiative for CSR. And he really appreciated the way we've gone about and doubled our efforts.
A true benefactor in the cause of wholesome care for cattle. Cricketer Irfan Pathan was the guest of honor at one of the cattle care camps held at Shivdaspura village near Jaipur. Irfan has been a strong associate and supporter of the initiative, owing to his belief that cattle care is a crucial component of rural life and by extension, the Indian economy.
In India, we have 25% of the cattle stock, and we are one of the large exporters of milk. But somehow still we feel that cattle are not taken care of, and there's a lot of work which can be done. So in Pashu Vikas, we are trying to change the way people take care of their cattle.
So cattle care is very important for the ecosystem, and it's very important for us to take care of their upkeep. Fulton India Company is really helping in that. When I joined the first time, hands with Fulton India Company, who's actually doing this Pashu Vikas Day. This is where I was more aware of condition of the cattle in the country, which was on very positive, considered being India is an agricultural country. करीबन 7 लाख गांव है जो छोटे बड़े जो गांव है कंट्री में, जो उनका इकोनॉमी चलता है कैटल की वजह से, कैसे वो दूध निकालते हैं, कितना लीटर दूध निकलता है, करीबन 7 लीटर दूध निकलता है, वो 1 लीटर अपने खुद के लिए रखती हैं और फिर बाद में 4-5 लीटर जो वो बेचती हैं, और फिर उसकी वजह से पर डे के हिसाब से जो लोन फुलटन इंडिया कंपनी देती है उसकी वजह से उनका घर चलता है, पूरा महीना उनका चलता है, वैसी तरह से पूरा सालाना उनका काम चलता रहता है, पूरी फैमिली उनके ऊपर निर्भर होती है। वो एक्सपीरियंस मेरे लिए बड़ा ज़बरदस्त रहा। ये जो पशु विकास डे का जो इनिशिएटिव फुलटन इंडिया कंपनी ने लिया है लास्ट ईयर से 2014 में जब मैं उनके साथ जुड़ा था, और इस साल वो नंबर्स जो थे वो डबल हो गए। लास्ट ईयर करीबन 10,000 फैमिलीज़ को सपोर्ट कर रहे थे, इस साल 20,000 फैमिली को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। आई फील रियली प्राउड टू बी एसोसिएटेड विद फुलटन इंडिया कंपनी ऑन दिस पशु विकास डे बिकॉज इट्स वेरी स्पेशल टू द कंट्री।
Coming up, a village in Rajasthan, a farmer with a family of 6 mouths to feed, counting on his cattle for his living.
यहाँ पे जो और तो कोई काम है नहीं, खेती में पानी नहीं है, इन जानवरों से ही सारा घर का कर्जा वर्जा गुजारा चलाते हैं.
Dairy farming defines his existence. But when the cattle fall prey to sickness, he must rise up to the trial. Watch how messengers from Fullerton, India offer a respite. With expertise, the right knowledge, and empathetic approach to cattle and their owners. Shivdaspura, an antiquated village near Jaipur. This is a village almost entirely reliant on its dairy produce. The milk obtained from cattle is sold to dairy owners for a limited income. However, it isn't all smooth sailing for the farmers. A lack of precise information, seasonal and veterinary ailments often leads to the milk produce being far below what it ought to be, and the low produce spirals into a challenging economic backlash for everyone at Shivdaspura. The calm of the day bears anxieties for one such dairy farmer with a family of 6 and being the owner of 8 buffaloes and 4 cows.
मेरा नाम गणेश नारायण मीणा है और शिवदासपुरा गांव से हूँ. यहाँ पे जो और तो कोई काम है नहीं, खेती में पानी नहीं है, अब इन जानवरों से ही सारा घर का कर्जा वर्जा गुजारा चलाते हैं.
The daily task of keeping up with his cattle is compounded time and again when his cattle suffer complications brought on by pregnancy and slew of diseases.
4 महीने पहले अभी यहाँ से 80,000 रुपये में खरीदी थी निवाई से. अब वो जिस टाइम पे धनी 12 लीटर दूध बताया था कि साहब 12 लीटर दूध दे रही है. अब वो अपने आके यहाँ आने के बाद में 1 महीने तक तो वो 12 लीटर दूध देती है और उसके बाद में दूध उसका कम हो गया. कम होने के बाद अब वो 2 महीने से बिल्कुल एक टाइम पे आ गई, एक ही टाइम दूध देती है जो 6-7 लीटर दूध दे रही है. अब 80,000 रुपये का जान बुला रहे हैं. अब वो केवल क्या है कि जैसे 5-7 लीटर दूध में अपने घर के काम चलेगा, वो बेचने के लिए बाहर कहाँ से भेजें.
The absence of a competent government hospital is an added hurdle.
सरकार की तरफ से कोई मदद नहीं है साहब. सरकारी न तो कोई हॉस्पिटल है यहाँ पे, न कोई डॉक्टर आके संभालता है. यहाँ से 4-5 किलोमीटर दूर चंद्राई गांव में है, तो या तो जानवर को वहाँ लेके जाएं या फिर अगर डॉक्टर यहाँ बुलाते हैं तो उसका पैसा देना पड़ता है.
Private doctors are few and charge rates that are well out of reach for Ganesh. His means are limited. The result? Most of his cattle produce no milk or once out of the 2 milking periods of the day. And even when it comes, the milk is never quite enough.
स्थिति यही है कि जो चला रहे हैं काम चलता है जैसे, और अगर नहीं चलता है तो फिर कर्जा लेके काम करना पड़ता है. पढ़ाई लिखाई में और कोई बच्चों की हारी बीमारी में इन पशु पे ही निर्भर है. अगर इनमें कोई दिक्कतें आ जाती है तो फिर वही कर्जे से काम होता है.
Ganesh needs the right know-how. Information is key in such a situation, but hard to come by.
नमस्कार जी, हम फुलरटन इंडिया ग्राम शक्ति से आए हैं.
Thanks to volunteers from the Fullerton India family, a message of hope is spread by door-to-door messengers. carrying pamphlets and offering the farmers the promise of a better life for their cattle.
नमस्कार, ये हमारा पंपलेट है। इसमें पशु चिकित्सा की निःशुल्क जो कैंप लग रहा है उसके पूरी जानकारी है। इसमें जो भी डॉक्टर्स आ रहे हैं और पशुपालन विभाग जयपुर की तरफ से और फुलरटन इंडिया ग्राम शक्ति की तरफ से ये कैंप आयोजित हो रहा है और ये कैंप होगा सुबह 9 बजे से 3 बजे तक।
A breath of relief comes as the Pashu Vikas Day opens. The camps offer respite via patient listeners, experts in the field. A wide coverage for cattle care camps under Fullerton India's Pashu Vikas initiative offer a beneficial experience to farmers. Free checkups are organized by veterinary doctors. Medicines are distributed free of cost. Leading experts in the field pass on advice on yielding more produce from the cattle.
इस पशु विकास दिवस पे हमने राजस्थान में 33 ब्रांचेज में इसको ऑर्गेनाइज़ किया है और इसका मेन मकसद ज़्यादातर ग्रामीणों को फ़ायदा देना है, जिससे कि उनके कैटल को इस कैंप में लाया जा सके और हमारे जो मेन डॉक्टर्स हैं उनके थ्रू उनको उपचार करके उनको उसके फ़ायदे के बारे में बताया जाए।
Fullerton India is only company which has its employees participating in CSR activity, and today you'll be surprised to know that there are some 2,500 employees of a company who are in the field helping farmers, helping villagers in getting their cattle to the camps. And we create awareness. We go and speak to the local sarpanch, we go and speak to local veterinary doctors. So we invite them, and it's a camp where people can come and see that activity is happening.
Ganesh approaches one such veterinary specialist at the Pashu Vikas Day.
क्यों लाए हो इसमें इसको?
इस भैंस को दिक्कत है दूध नहीं दे रही, दूध कम देती है।
चारा क्या दे रहे हैं आप लोग उसको?
चारा दे रहे हैं, गेहूं का खांगला दे रहे हैं और उसके साथ में ये जो तिल्ली की खड़ा है।
मतलब आपने खुराक कम नहीं करी लेकिन दूध कम हुआ।
हाँ, दूध कम हुआ।
आपकी भैंस बिल्कुल ठीक हो जाएगी। इसके लिए मैं इंजेक्शन दे रहा हूँ और गोली और पाउडर भी दे रहा हूँ। 10-15 दिन बिल्कुल नॉर्मल आ जाएगी, अब बिल्कुल चिंता नहीं।
With precise examinations, apt prescriptions for the prevailing disease, and invaluable tips on how to yield better milk from his cattle, there is more than respite for farmers like Ganesh. There is hope.
इस कैंप के लगने से पशुपालकों को बहुत बहुत फ़ायदा हुआ और दूध बढ़ाने की जो जानकारी दी उसके बारे में भी किसानों को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होगा।
सुबह से मैं यहाँ गाय लेके आई हूँ दिखाने के लिए। जो डॉक्टर साहब को मैंने दिखाया है और मेरे को जो कुछ पता नहीं था इनके बारे में उसकी मेरे को जानकारी मिली। उन्होंने कुछ दवाइयाँ दी मेरे को जो उनको देने के लिए, और हमारे ये पशु हैं उनकी सुरक्षा के लिए आगे कुछ भी हो तो उसकी जानकारी के लिए हमें अनुभव हुआ जो पहले नहीं था।
We are a company which don't do CSR activity in an ad hoc way. We have, a kind of a mission that we drive, saying that every branch must do one CSR activity every month. Pashu Vikas Day we started last year, and this year it is on a much larger scale. As compared to last year where we treated 20,000 cattle, this year we're going to treat 40,000 cattle, and we plan to continue it in future also.
Next week, a closer look at the journeys of farmers in 4 villages across the country, who tell their own stories, their hurdles, their concerns.
फुलरटन इंडिया ने हमको बताया कि तुम गांव में दूध बेचोगे तो तुम क्या उनमें क्या निकालेंगे। वो बोले तुम यहाँ से शहर जाओ, वहाँ पे लोगों को दूध चाहिए अच्छा, तुम्हारे पास अच्छा दूध है तो तुम वहाँ पे जाके तुम्हारा दूध बेचो।
And the many ways in which Fullerton India's Pashu Vikas Day turned the lives of their animals around as much as their own.